welcome to the special show Tata First Dot, powered by the National Entrepreneurship Network. This is part 2 of the two-part series, and over the next 30 minutes, we'll bring you all the action from the award ceremony and bring you more voices from student entrepreneurs.
There was high activity at the stalls with the student startups showcasing their products. The one that caught our attention was this handy-looking medical device from Chennai-based Frista Innovations. The students from Anna University have launched this device for body pain management. Using electrotherapy and vibrotherapy, the low-cost device is portable, making it easy to use for patients. There were also plenty of student startups focusing on renewable energy in a bid to capture that growing demand. One such startup that looked interesting was Mumbai-based Ventec Solutions, which offered installation of solar energy systems and solar-based appliances. The startup evolved from a government-funded project for a solar-based regenerative streetlight adverts and vertical axis windmill. The team is busy taking the product to market and meeting potential clients.
So those are some of the interesting student startups that we saw, and I have a whole bunch of them right now with me. So if you guys could just introduce yourselves and tell us about your startup and how you really identified the problem before becoming a student startup.
My name is Srividya. I'm from Ethraj College for Women, Chennai, and my startup name is Panache, which is a top finalist here in the Tata First Dot People Choice Awards. And basically my startup is a printing unit. We basically print t-shirts, and now we also expanded to printing it to certificates, posters, banners, and in future we even plan to print on coffee mugs and stuff like that.
I'm Tanushree Singh, and I'm also from Rajasthan, Jaipur. Our startup name is Ether Alliance. We provide various services like toiletries and cosmetics, delivery of them, and locker facility, and postal and courier services, etc.
My name is Mukesh Saraswat. I am from Jaipur, Purnima Group of College, Jaipur. Actually, our startup name is Door-to-Door Home Services. Actually, this startup provide home services. We have approximate 30 plus different services which is related to home, and we basically work on call-on service. If you call, we can provide any facility which is related to home.
My name is Gaurav Modi. I am from Acropolis College, Indore. My startup, our startup name is Papyrus Paper Recycling Company. We are at the top position of TFD. Our company is basically recycle the waste and scrap papers and make it to reuse.
I'm Sahana, representing Variety Boutique of Ethraj. We have a separate clothing line of Ethraj. Ethraj fashion is on Variety Boutique's hand.
Sure.
So we trade with kurtas and other t-shirts, which makes the girls even more fashionable and makes them the epitome of fashion in the city.
How do you guys go about identifying a problem? Because that's where the opportunity really is. You obviously saw an opportunity, but you also saw the problem. How did you go about it? Because as a student, you're more trained to, do your academics and, possibly get into sports a little bit. How did you decide to, solve a problem or get into that opportunity?
Wherein, as far as my startup is concerned, girls are want to be very trendy. So they want to be fashionable. So, but they cannot go for shopping every time. They cannot go various places to get various dresses. So do we. Even my team face the same problem. So we cannot go shopping for one particular place must be specialized on one particular variety of product. Maybe the fashion alone. So we thought we'd bring everything together and we'll sell it to the girls in hand.
The problem that we solved first was because people didn't find enough printers within the college itself. We target on college students. So the college students, each time they have to go approach a printer. So why not bring the printing unit inside the college, and where we can make it affordable and also for customer friendly. So that is the main reason we bought the printing unit inside our college, and we started giving it to our students.
And in terms of discussing these problems and opportunities, how do you go about it? Do you talk with your faculty? What are the other mentors that you are available access? Because in Jaipur, I'm sure there are not that many entrepreneurs around in your students' ecosystem.
We did research and development in our college campus only. We asked the student that what are the facilities they want in the college, and which the college is providing. So they gave us many ideas, and we had a mentoring session with our teachers, and they developed the ideas. We also gave some ideas, and we collaborated these services, and then we are providing these services.
Okay. Also, from your perspective, the door-to-door kind of home services that you're providing, how difficult is it to kind of implement on the ground?
Sir, we came up with this idea because in now most of the people are buying and selling the products in online, and all the companies are only providing the electronics items and all the items which we are requiring, but nobody is bothered about how to repair that, or is there company who can repair online, or they can go to their home and solve the problems. For that we had done the ground survey, and when we were taking the feedback was in positive.
Our basic agenda of this company is to give the paper for poor children, they are not affordable to buy that.
How did you come across that?
When the Tata First Dot competition came in our college, we and Gaurav, we know that we have idea, paper recycling company, we have a name, we have a logo. Then we try up in that Tata First Dot.
Sure. How do platforms like this, the Tata First Dot, obviously all of you are proud to be part of this competition. How does that add to your resume?
We get to know what and all the problems even the other startups do they face, and we can know, we can easily understand if I could face that problem, I will be getting to know the solution which they gave for the problem that they face. So if that could approach me in the long run, I can easily solve it because I have understood what it had been doing, and more like a learning experience. Tata First Dot is being an entrepreneur. I cannot go learn everything everywhere. So this event is more like a learning experience for me.
Before coming here for Tata First Dot, I was like Srividya from Panache. Now it's Srividya from Panache as the Tata First Dot finalist. That name, the recognition itself gives me so much of importance.
Does this kind of recognition tell you or inspire you enough to be student entrepreneurs? What is your view?
It is providing us confidence and exposure, and now we want to be an entrepreneur. Like, we don't want to go for jobs. I'm pursuing my MBA final year, so I have appeared for many interviews, and whenever I say that I am an entrepreneur, they goes into that direction. They ask many things and they get impressed, because being an entrepreneur is a uniqueness, because you are creating job, you are creating wealth in the economy, and you are innovators. So it adds up to your resume, it adds up to your qualification, your value, your personality. And networking is the best part. My parents never allowed me to go out of Rajasthan. But just because I'm an entrepreneur and the Tata First Dot, he saw this platform, he has allowed me to come Bangalore just because of this.
Thank you guys, and all the best with your respective ventures. Coming up after the break, we bring you all the action from the awards as well as all the winners of the Tata First Dot Challenge powered by the National Entrepreneurship Network. Welcome back. You're watching Tata First Dot powered by the National Entrepreneurship Network, and joining me now is Harish Bhatt, MD and CEO of Tata Global Beverages and one of the key speakers here at Tata First Dot. Harish, thank you so much for talking to NDTV. Your speech was quite inspiring. A lot of students really took into some of the points that you made in the speech. What for you was a big takeaway?
First and foremost, I must tell you this, the energy in the auditorium was infectious. When you see 800 college students around, many of them with entrepreneurial ideas in their minds, 30 finalists of the Tata First Dot powered by NEN, that audience was incredible. I spoke to them about perfection. JRD Tata once said that you should strive for perfection in everything you do and never be satisfied with second best. And if you have to do that, you have to dream, you have to dare, you have to detail your dream, you have to ensure that you deliver your dream. I spoke to them about 6 Ds, which I think are tied in with delivering everything that you want to do as an entrepreneur. I think if you have to reach perfection and excellence in what you do, there are some key steps you have to take, and that was the subject of my address. The big takeout for me was that this was an audience looking at what they can make out of their lives, and many of them were abuzz with entrepreneurial ideas. The questions that came through at the end of the session showed the incredible amount of energy.
Sure. This is the first step of their long journey that's lying ahead of them. What for you they should kind of focus on? What are the things that they really need to focus on at this level and not think too big or not reach for the moon at this stage? Try and focus on the basics right now.
I believe first and foremost they must have a clear bias for action. If they have an idea, however small or big it may be, how can they actually take that idea and translate it into being? That has to be the first step, because that bias for action is, I think, the hallmark of all great entrepreneurs. And with that bias for action is a very good foundation that sets in for a future big dream.
Sure. Do you believe that the mindset also is changing? Because, you know, for student entrepreneurs, the support from the college, from family, from friends, all that's also important, right?
Absolutely.
The mindset is changing?
Absolutely. I think the mindset is changing. I think modern India offers a plethora of opportunities to students. There are many, many more college students today who are willing and eager to become entrepreneurs in their own right, not necessarily go only into a straitjacketed kind of profession as an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer. And that's very good news for us. Of course, it requires family support. It requires support from the institution. It requires support from corporates. That's why from the Tata Group we are here today.
Also from a Tata Group perspective, in your speech you mentioned about entrepreneurs, people who are groomed within the group itself. Take us through a bit about that.
I was talking about businesses which have been born within the group. They can be businesses ranging from large businesses like TCS, smaller businesses like Tata Swatch, businesses like Tanishq, businesses like Fast Track, businesses like some of our tea and coffee brands which have been born within our companies, and each of these have been created by managers who work within our companies, leaders who work within our companies. I would call them entrepreneurs because they develop a new idea, they bring it to life, and they do it in a corporate environment supported by the company. It requires convincing the company, it requires taking ownership of that idea and driving it through the corporation. Those entrepreneurs, whether it be in the Tata Group or in other corporates in India, are as important as entrepreneurs. I think they are two sources of energy that society can derive from.
Sure. How about platforms like these? Because students need that platform, need national recognition. How do they kind of enable the overall ecosystem?
I think platforms such as these, first and foremost, provide recognition for good work which has happened. That's very, very important. These 415 participants, 30 finalists and the 6 eventual winners today and the 5 winners of the popular choice go back, I think, with a spring in their step, saying that there is someone here at a national level who's recognized the good work that we have done. In addition to recognition, this is a forum for networking. Entrepreneurs meet each other, look at the work that each of them have done, exchange thoughts with each other. And I think that cross-pollination that they go out from here is yet another big idea that is inherent in a platform like this. Third, some of these ideas will strike everyone in the audience. There have been participants from industry, there have been participants from academia as being brilliant. And some of them are going to get mentoring support from NEN going forward. So that's another spin-off benefit of an event like this. So this forum serves the need for recognition, serves the need for networking and cross-pollination, and serves the need for future mentoring of some of these areas.
Sure. One final question. Do you believe the day is not far where India will, produce its own Google, the Facebook or the Apple? You believe there will be a big company that will emerge, not just in the technology space or across the board, a global company that will probably start from a student from a garage or something like that? You'll see that kind of story emerging from India?
Absolutely. I think in the next decade you're going to see that kind of a story from India. It requires vision, it requires energy, it requires focus, it requires intellect, it requires a great deal of determination and entrepreneurial spirit, and I think all those are getting built in India now. So it's not very, very far off when you will see that kind of a story emerge from our land.
Mr. Bhatt, thank you so much for talking to NDTV.
Thank you for your questions.
The top 30 startups also got an exclusive chance to interact one-on-one with 10 entrepreneurs turned mentors. This exercise was designed to help students plan, build and grow their ventures and understand the challenges that lie ahead.
I would say it's the energy that I have seen among the students. It's so encouraging to see large population of students. Today we have somewhere close to 800 students out here who are all either entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs. And this is what the country needs. We cannot rely on Tata Birlas and Ambanis to create jobs. We have enormous opportunity in the country, right? Every single day you walk around the country, there are 10,000 problems screaming for a better solution. Sure. If we can get our best and brightest from colleges to look at entrepreneurship as an alternative, we can address the problem of the demographic dividend, where 1 million people are joining the workforce every month, and that's going to go on for the next couple of decades. Sure. So very energizing and inspiring to see this.
Tata First Dot had attracted over 400 entries from across multiple sectors and from all across India, including metros, Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. The Tata Group has been encouraged by the response and says the event fosters entrepreneurial culture and innovation amongst the student community.
For us, this program focusing on student entrepreneurship is something which we are seeing as doing it on a sustainable basis, taking it to different parts of the country, making it bigger, making it stronger in various facets of the program. So therefore, from what we started off with 10 workshops in year 1, We moved the second year to 15 workshops, and third year, this year, we actually had 20 regional workshops. Over 800 people who are attending the national conference for a period of 2 days. That's a very, very large number. So we had good participation, both in the competition, different legs of competition, as also in the regional workshops. There are students who are out there, full-time students, still studying. They still have the dream, they have the passion, and they're putting their effort behind their passion. I think in general there is a stronger level of acceptability of entrepreneurship starting at an early stage. We are seeing through this program in India, we run another program which is Tata Social Enterprise Challenge, not necessarily for a student but early stage social enterprises with IIM Calcutta. We run another program in UK with National Association of College and University Entrepreneurs. Each place we see a strong interest in early stage entrepreneurship. For us, we are seeing this as a part of Tata Group's own ethos of entrepreneurial journey, pioneering and giving back to society. And we see that this is programs like this, when they help in some manner, even if it's very small, young people in their early stages, and if they can convince them more about taking that journey, that itself is a good start.
Participants also got to understand the harsh reality of entrepreneurship, with industry experts sharing their thoughts on why some companies grow and some just don't.
Before we start discussing growth, let's sort of agree what we mean by growth.
These days I'm focusing more on the social impact side, right? So there where we have growth as the triple bottom line we look at, right? So not only the money part, you do the impact as well as the environment. So the triple bottom line is what we are looking at. So sometimes you may be having an impact first, so how many people you've impacted. If you look at technology companies primarily, the growth is always coming back to the revenue part of it. Last decade is all about services industry, right? So it's all about people. So the people as a growth aspect, it's kind of coming down, because now we are looking at people who can have intellectual property that can give you a exponential growth in terms of revenue and the valuation. So
I do definitely agree that revenue is probably the primary sort of indicator of growth. Often growth can also allude to, just going ahead in developing your product.
Is our failure to think big the primary cause of us not becoming big or growing?
The majority don't think big enough. And very often the few who think big, and again I qualify it's a few, haven't really thought through how they're going to get big. It's more a little bit of that in the air type of dream, which is slightly different from what I would call vision, and being able to understand the steps towards achieving that big growth that or big target that they're thinking about already.
In Indian ecosystem, the other problem is that at a lot of times the VCs and angel investors want you to validate first before assume, and at times it makes sense to assume and make a lot of assumptions if you want to scale. So that is another aspect wherein as a VC fraternity or investment fraternity, we also need to be a little bit flexible in terms of giving leg space to these entrepreneurs to assume and do things further, rather than always validating the facts and then doing things.
So if we say growth is good, we understand what is growth, and that certain types of growth are good. What is it that we would urge the kids here to focus on a little more specifically?
You can ideate in whatever business, keep trying to innovate. That's one part. And the way you can do this, in my mind, is not by getting onto the net and definitely not reading TechCrunch, but by meeting people. There's a whole lot of talk about mentors, right? But you'll have only two, 3 people or maybe 5 people who will be ready to mentor you. But go out and meet people in the space, talk to them, bounce your ideas. What I would encourage is entrepreneurs to really research what other people are doing, talk to people, as many people as you can, and that's easy enough. It doesn't need too much money.
One of the most popular sessions this year at Tata First Dot was the talk by the founder, Microsoft Ventures, Mukund Mohan, who spoke about the importance of I, me and myself for a student entrepreneur. Mukund highlighted the need for self-belief as an entrepreneur and why everyone has the potential to make it big.
So the most amazing part is just let's talk through some numbers first, right? In 2007, we had about 300 to 500 startups in India being started every year. And now that number is between 1500 to 1600. In 2008, so it's 300% increase in just 5 to 7 years. The number of student-led entrepreneurs, that is people that got out of college or school and then became entrepreneurs, was less than 0.3% in 2008. And that's more than 5 times gone up to nearly about 2.5 to 3% of all new entrepreneurial ventures that get started that are done by students. So that number is just dramatic. It's growing exponentially compared to every other part of the ecosystem. The second part of it that is very good is they're starting to see successes as well, and you're getting great role models. That's what students get really excited about. The regional events help a lot because every problem that most entrepreneurs solve in India are very local. I think that's the most amazing part of student entrepreneurs. Unlike professional folks that have been in the industry for a little bit of time, they look for global markets, global trends, they try to solve a US problem. Student entrepreneurs, they are exposed to problems that are very local. And then you still need people to be able to give them exposure, talent, and also the ability to nurture them at a national level. So, which is why we partner with NEN in events such as these, gives them a lot of ability to attract the best talent, and also gives us the ability to meet with some of the folks that we think are going to be amazing entrepreneurs in the future.
And then it was time for the big award ceremony. Harish Bhatt, Managing Director of Tata Global Beverages, gave away the awards to the student startup teams.
The winners are Now is the moment that everyone has been waiting for, the top 5.
That's all we have for you from Tata First Dot, powered by the National Entrepreneurship Network. Clearly, the spirit of entrepreneurship among students is well alive and kicking. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned to NDTV.